Jordan guy.
All right.
Do that.
I look like money. Leave my picture alone.
He died.
Hey, I'm the one. I look like I'm the one financing this ordeal.
No, it's just the fact that how Joel cut it together. It just is so just like bam. Like
You look like the muscle of the operation. You like the security guard
True.
for it.
Like,
Hey, I did used to do that as one of my side jobs.
He did. I bet
that checks out. Hey, if Drew came and gave you a handshake like this, it was over, bro.
Pretty much.
You knew what it was. Hey, Jordan JC, what are you drinking on over there?
Don't worry about it.
A little beverage there. You all right? Oh boy.
Compliments stuff. Yeah, appreciate you, buddy.
Where's the glass?
Don't worry about it. The glass is right here.
Hey,
This is the glass.
What's good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Through various means on a Monday. We got the squad in the building.
Yeah.
As always, super producer Joel Holt in the building. Sitting there with Mr. Drew Better. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better? Nobody, bro, with the shameless Bears Breeze plug. Shout out to that. Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC in the building. Of course, Pettiest Man Alive. Mr. P Kid. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. A lot to get into on today's episode, man. Omarion Hampton is at Halas. We got a Hampton at Halas. He's not in the Hamptons. He's at Halas. Shamar Stewart also was at Halas. Are the Bears going to possibly be trading up? There's a conversation to be had there. And Caleb Johnson on his top 30 visit. If Caleb Johnson shows up, is DeAndre Swift going nowhere? All that and more today's episode of the Windy City Green Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Subscribe.
Yeah, come on, push a button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the button. Boys, what's going on? How y'all feeling, man?
Yeah, we're all right, man.
Pretty good, man.
Good. Feeling good. Nice and relaxed.
Weather's starting to break a little bit. It's feeling good again, you know.
Hey,
weather is starting to break. You ain't lying.
It's definitely nice
cold
out
stuff, man.
About time.
Right.
Hey,
We
Chicago,
definitely
be
need it.
safe out here, baby. The weather starts to break, and then all of a sudden we lose our minds. Just be safe out here, dog. It's
Yeah.
No. There's no fun and safe.
Hey, I'm wilding out. I'm not gonna lie.
Kind of got whoa, all right.
Hey, those two guys speak for themselves. I want
Yeah,
everyone
I'm
to
about to say, I enjoy that.
Hey, if it gets 65 and up, pants are optional. Do with that what you will. All right, let's talk a little
Replacing him
football.
with shorts.
Okay. We got this nugget from Omarion Hampton himself as a little Instagram post today with him inside of Halas Hall. He came in for his top 30 visit. I think that this is one a name that we've talked about here with the Bears a ton because essentially he is the other guy, right? Everybody's been all enamored with Ashton Genty and what he can do, what he brings to an organization, what he brings to a program. But Omarion Hampton is no slouch in his own right. He is a dog. To me, I think that he is somebody who probably fits that Matt Forte kind of mold. Literally same 40 time as Matt Forte. Stats are eerily similar as Matt Forte. Offensively, he got some of that same wiggle, some of that same ability to catch the football out of the backfield, and he is the second running back on this list now of the Athletic. The Beast has dropped. If you haven't tapped in with the Beast and you need to learn anything about anybody, that's the way to do it because Dan Burglar put a great list here together. Here's his strengths just to start off here. Thick, squared up build. I don't know what to do with that. Above average run strength, especially in the lower half. Does that go in along with thick there? Say this word very carefully. Tilts field downhill with forward lean to barrel through half tackles. Above average initial burst for 220-pound athlete. This is crazy. Reads
A lot of
blocks
pause
well
stuff
at
right
the
there.
line of scrimmage to press hip blockers. There was one more thing. Offers both talent and experience in the pass protection game, which is something that I think that you would Ben Johnson really appreciates. Remember, he said no rock or no block, no rock. So when you hear the Omarion Hampton strengths there, it does feel like he is a Ben Johnson type of guy. Some of the weaknesses here will make himself too big a target through the line of scrimmage at times. Pad level needs to be better for consistency, willing to power into contact, but not always through it. And lack of swivel and hips creates tightness in turns, which limits open field creativity. Things that Eric Bieniemy to me fixes. Boys, when you hear Omarion Hampton here at Halas Hall and you hear some of the positives and negatives attributed to his name. Oh, by the way, he is in top 100 rank. He is ranked the 29th best prospect on this list. Let's start it here. And we can go with Jordan JC on this one. Do you feel like he's somebody who, if you believe in his game, that you're talking about taking at 10? Or do you only vibe with this move if it's later on in the draft?
I mean, in a perfect world, I would prefer if we move back to maybe the teens or the 20s and he's still there. Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking him back then. I think that's where you have the highest value for him. But if you took him at 10, I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with that, because outside of Ashton Genty being the number one clear running back in this draft, Omarion Hampton probably would be the number one back in most years. And so I don't have a problem with that. If you're saying that you're fine with taking him at 10, perfect blend of power, size, aggressiveness. Like you said, the Matt Forte comparisons are right. They have a lot of NFL comparisons for him for Ramondre Stevenson, which he's been a decent back. A guy who can kind of get downhill. Once he kind of picks up speed, it's really hard to tackle him. He's kind of like a battering ram. And so I love an Omarion Hampton. I'll take him at 10. But like I said, if you're talking about him at his highest value, trading back into the 20s and maybe getting him there is probably where it would be perfect.
Kid, Ashton Genty gone in this situation probably at 10 right now. If you are looking at Omarion Hampton, it feels I agree with JC. Feels like you're taking him a little bit high there. But if you try to get him later, is it even worth it to try and get back in this round for a running back?
I'll be honest with you. Gruden actually, with some of your colleagues over the weekend, got to hear some of his takes on it. He gave an interesting take. When it's time to get your guy, you just get your guy, basically. And so for Ben Johnson's scheme, you need that running back. You need that talent. And if Genty's not there, he is the next man up. I don't know what's happened in the last, it's Lion season. We know what's happened. A lot of people moved around this block, but he's projected to be a top 20 pick at this particular point, with several teams now being dubbed to be the individual to grab them. Cowboys are one. I know Broncos are not in top 20 draft yet, but other teams are like in the mix and him being tied to them. If you really need a running back, and we do, you get him at 10. He's if that's the position you need to fill, and that's the talent, and that he's the best available there, then you get him there. Because trading back, I think the Dallas goes at 12. Yeah. He may not be there if those rumors are true. So if this is the guy that you want, this is the guy that you need, you take him when you have the opportunity to get him. You live with it. And listen, we know Dallas loves a first round running back. I mean, too much love for a first round running back. Joel, when you hear the name Omarion Hampton, I mean, he's essentially the second guy on this list, right? There's Ashton Genty, there's Omarion Hampton. Not to say that there's a chasm between the two, but he's not the number one guy. Do you feel like you're missing out if you're not going best player available at the position there versus going after a guy like Hampton this high?
I'm not mad at that move because I've been saying for a long time we have to establish a running game, and establishing a running game doesn't mean that it's not taking the ball away from Caleb. The idea is that we want to balance. We don't want our quarterback throwing 50, 60 times. We want to balance attack. So when you look at Omarion, he's really Roshan. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds, the same size. They're like the same size running back, but he's probably a faster version. And you just wonder if because Roshan is he limited from everything with the big helmet and concussions, all that type of stuff?
More so the concussions, yeah.
Right. So you're getting a similar size back, and because the thing is, if he has a home run ability like Matt Forte, to me, I love Matt Forte. Right. The problem was he got you the yards, he got the catches. The issue was he just wasn't a home run hitter. Now, if Omarion gives you that home run hitting because he's strong with the like his lower legs being strong enough to keep that momentum going, I'm all for it. But the thing is at 10, it's a tricky spot because it sounds like we're sandwiched in between everybody. Between if the Raiders take Genty, I agree. I think that Dallas probably would take him because they usually hit on their first round running backs. So why can't we hit on ours? Finally, I'm fine with it.
They usually hit on him for about 4 years. Drew, what are your thoughts on Omarion Hampton? Do you feel like he's a first round pick that makes sense for this team?
I think I'm going to actually be the opposite of everybody on the panel. I don't, even though I like him, I don't like him at 10. I think he's a good solid pick, prospect, but I think it's a little too early for 10. I think he falls into the 15 to 20 range where he provides more of a great value. I think with him being picked at 10, it's a stretch. It's not a very high stretch, but it is a stretch for that pick. Because at 10, you're looking at to draft somebody that's great value at 10, not just good value. And I think being picked further down, like I said, in the 15 to 20 range, then he provides that great value, even though he is a good running back.
So you're trying to pick up extra pick to get Hampton?
I'm being a little greedy. I'm going to be Poles in Carolina. I want to trade back. I want to get my guy, and I would like to throw in a third or fourth round.
Listen, I'm not mad at that. I think the conversation around Hampton is, at least for me, right? Number one, y'all know where I'm at with the running back position. If you take Ashton Genty, I can believe in it and be like, all right, that's cool. I can feel that same way about Omarion Hampton because I think that Omarion Hampton is going to have the same advantages that Ashton Genty would have if he came here to the Chicago Bears. But The big question for me is are you leaving – when you look at BPA, right? Are you leaving a better tackle on the board to take a running back at 10? Are you leaving a better defensive end or an edge rusher on the board to take a running back at 10? Are you leaving a better defensive tackle on the board to take a running back at 10? Heck, are you leaving a better offensive lineman and a guy like, to me, who I think has shot up the board, in Gray Zabel, to take a running back at 10? Those are the things I can't overlook. You know what I mean? Where the luxury positions, the edge positions, all of those things. Or I'm sorry, the outside positions, not the edge position. The outside positions. They're fun. They're cool. They're exciting. You get to see them turn into yards and touchdowns. Oh my God! But like, you don't get to that point where the luxury positions matter as much by leaving guys like, in my mind, right, a Jalen Walker or a Mike Green or a Gray Zabel or an Armand Membu if he's there at 10 on your board. You don't get to that point.
I don't think it's that, Pat. I think you're overlooking the fact that having a running back, whether it's Genty, Hampton, or someone of that caliber, will save the existing defense that we have now. The issue is that the defense, you need that running game to keep the defense fresh. That's been the biggest issue over the years, is being able to have. So instead of having a 3-year average defense, we might get 5 years because we have a rotation of a running game. But because you upgraded the offensive line they offset each other. You got to get the offensive line right. So now we kind of did that. And you should draft later for offensive line. But with the running game establishing that, we don't have to keep our defense an unbalanced game where they're always on the field getting worn out, which is now going to create more injuries.
And Pat, I'm actually with you on that one when it comes to, who are you giving up to, or who are you looking over to get this running back, right? But there's one aspect that we can't just ignore, and everything is centered around the development and actually getting this offense going. You have to make life easy for Caleb. So to your point, hey, getting the extra lineman, more time in the pocket gives us that opportunity. But at the same time, having a well-balanced attack, being able to have that running game develop, allows him that opportunity for us not to depend on him throwing the ball as much as well. And that is exactly what he did with him being Ben Johnson with Jared Goff. That's exactly what he did with Jared Goff. And that's why they took Jahmyr Gibbs so high. Right? I think they took him again, 12, first-round pick. He's done well. He looks like he's going to have a promising career. Sometimes you just have to make that move. And if honestly, if we're considering him great value at 15, you taking him at 10 is not that big of a difference, especially because you don't have much wiggle room there before the next team that really needs a running back is on the board.
But do we think that None of the other backs in here do that. That's the conversation that I've been having the entire time, right? Do we think Caleb Johnson, who's somebody we could talk about, doesn't do that? Do we think that Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins,
I like him.
Dylan
I get tingly over Travion.
All right, listen, there's a bunch of dudes in this draft I get tingly. We were sitting there watching a game the other day, and I forgot Trevor Etienne is in this draft.
The brother?
And he's out of Georgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you take him high, but here's my big thing. And with the running back conversation, this is kind of where I'm always going to be at. A great offensive line can make a good running back great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Great running back cannot make a good offensive line great.
No, it can't.
A great running back cannot improve a good defensive line. Now, it can make things easier in certain aspects, but a good offensive line or a great offensive line, can make a good running back great. My goal is to try and get this Bears offensive line great for years to come, to where the running back conversation is one we never need to have this conversation again. We saw Jordan Mason last year out in San Francisco in a down year with their offensive line because of some of the injuries they had last year. Look like a world beater. We're going, dang it.
You want to build like Denver's line used to be, where they stuck anybody and everybody in that Denver running back field that ran 1,200 yards. Yeah, Denver, San Francisco. Those people that interchanged every year. As soon as somebody got hurt, they were the next guy up running
back by committee.
Yards.
And it is that conversation on, Joe, you mentioned Dallas earlier, right? What's the real reason Dallas always hits on their running backs?
Good line.
Offensive line is one of the best.
They just can't miss that. You got to pay only the running back scout because there's no way we can make listen. The dude that came after Emmitt Smith got 1,000+ rushing yards.
Well, okay, I got a question for you. What round was Trey Smith drafted in?
Trey Smith
from Kansas
Trey
City?
Smith.
Fifth? Was it fifth or seventh? It was an odd.
I think he's like a 6th.
Oh,
round
you talk about I'm still on running back. You talk about
you talking about the guard.
Kansas City, Trey Smith. What round was it? Sixth round pick. The point is that we can get caught up in the semantics of this first round pick, which needs to hit regardless. We got to draft because you can get great linemen in all the rounds. So my point is, I don't want to sacrifice the rest of my depth. I'm fine if we take a running back in the first. I'm fine if we do that, or even a defensive end. But my thing is, in the later rounds, we're round 2, 3, 4. We don't have a fourth.
We don't have a fourth.
No, we don't have a 6th round this year, right?
We don't have either.
Okay.
Right. There's 2 rounds we don't have.
Jonah Jackson, I thought was next year. I thought Jonah Jackson was
Yeah.
next year's 4th.
Yeah, the fourth was debatable.
72.
I think the fourth was debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
All right. So the point is that the thing is the draft, the scouting, it all comes back to the scouting and how their big board is, right? So if they feel that Genty and Hampton are here, and then you got Travion down there. Now, maybe Travion is a 2nd round pick, and that's cool. And we stacked the line. We all came in earlier this year. All offseason earlier on was what about I wanted Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell, get my line right. This is before they even did anything with Tooney and getting Dahlman and all these guys. Now it's like, yo, they don't upgrade this line serious. And we don't know if the coaching is going to affect Braxton, Karan Amagaji. That we don't know what they're doing inside. So they may say we can now take a luxury pick because we know something they don't know. We have the line that we want.
But I think the conversation around that, though, like to your point, right? How many 6th round great offensive linemen are there in the league?
There's a few of them.
There's a few.
Yeah,
how many late round running backs are usually end up being pretty good when they're on the team?
There's a few of those too.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of 1,000-yard rushing.
It's 3 of them on San Francisco alone.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of.
Yeah.
That's why I'm agree with you, Pat, that it is more percentage of finding your studs in the later round of running back than it is to find linemen on both sides of the ball in the trenches that you need. You have to play the percentages, and the percentages say that I'm able to find a running back later on if I invest in the trenches earlier in those lottery picks.
Well, yeah, listen, I'll tell you the one thing I probably can guarantee, and I don't know, I'm out on a limb on this one. Chase Lunt is probably not Armand Mimbo.
Who?
Exactly. Let's keep this moving along. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe. Y'all ain't even made it to a Chase Lunt yet.
No, I'm not even lying to you. No,
we got 10 days to go. Y'all don't even know Chase Lunt.
Hey, man, that's the
He's
6th, 7th round guy.
No, he's
I know Lampkin.
Hey,
Lampkin, baby.
He's a top 75 pick, ain't he?
That's my future fullback.
Chase Lunt?
No, not top 100 pick.
He's a
Ain't he?
top 100 player.
Top
He's a top 100 player. He's in the conversation, but it is funny because it's just like when you look at those guys and you look at like the late round running backs, right? We got dudes. I'm telling you, dog, like if the Bears in the 5th round went, we love DJ Giddens.
I just watched film on them.
Y'all are going to see me flip a table in excitement for a running back.
I just watched the film.
That
Yeah,
young man,
I'm excited. Yeah.
And running behind this line, he probably will be even better on that. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and show love. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We're going to keep this thing moving along as the Shamar Stewart also had a top 30 visit here with the Chicago Bears. Shamar Stewart, many of you may know him for his 3.5 sacks over his time in college. Many of you, which one was your favorite one? Many of you may know him for his RAS scores that are through the roof right now. But the Chicago Bears taking a look at Shamar Stewart. Now, I'll be honest with you. There is no conversation for me, no matter what. No matter how high this guy goes through the RAS scores, the excitement, pre-draft, all of that, where I would take this guy in the 1st round. But doesn't mean that the Bears don't see some upside. And if you get that luxury piece like Joel is talking about early on, we did hear from Mike Miller that the Bears might be interested in trying to trade up to get back into the 1st round, giving up one of those 2nd round picks. Now, to me, this is an insane conversation to be having for a guy who just is a workout warrior, but maybe is not one of the dogs in this draft. When you look at a Shamar Stewart, remember his measurables. I guess in theory, everything with his RAS scores are on par with Myles Garrett, but he's got 3.5 college sacks. Is there more that meets the eye here, Jordan JC, when you look at a Shamar Stewart? Because the conversation around him would have to be, if you're going to go get him, you're not taking him 10, I wouldn't think, and you may be trading up to get him.
That's the weirdest thing, is that he's been projected to go as high as to New Orleans at 9.
By the way,
I've seen certain mock
a top 9 pick in this draft.
I'm sorry. There's always one or a couple of guys that just somehow rise in the boards based off of just the upside, and they're these scouts, these analysts that are just like salivating over the potential of a person that only gives you so little production.
There, JC?
No, I'm not going meat juice. I'm not even tingly on this guy. I don't like a Shamar Stewart because I feel like you're overlooking other prospects that can do so much more and that provided so much more in college right away. That will be more NFL ready. This is clearly a project guy. If you're saying that the Bears are going to trade back into the 1st round, there's names like Walter Nolan from Ole Miss that get me even more tinglier because of his ability to be a better pass rusher from the interior. If you're talking about an edge rusher, I would love Walter Nolan. I do not want a Shamar Stewart. Even though everybody say he's crafted from the gods, he looks like granite and all these other physical traits. That's awesome. But does he do anything? Does he have the IQ? How long will it take for him to develop? You know what's crazy is that they have him compared to one Roy Robertson Harris. Roy Robertson Harris was already on this team. I looked up the stats. Roy Robertson Harris is 6'5", 290 pounds. Mountain of a man, but he only has 19 sacks in his entire career in the NFL. He's been here for 8 seasons or with the Giants, with the Jaguars, and the Bears. That's not good production. I don't want Shamar Stewart. If you're going into the 1st round, you need somebody that's actually going to have a better impact right away.
Jordan's cooking.
Hallelujah.
Jordan.
I love it. I love it. You made me go look up Roy Robertson Harris, who I actually was a fan of.
I was too.
He had potential. He showed lots of potential.
Roy Robertson Harris, no, he is off of the edge. I felt like he was more on the interior. I guess he is.
No, he was an edge rusher. He had so much potential when we drafted him. I remember that draft.
Yeah, I liked him too.
Here are the strengths and weaknesses from the Dan Brugler Brugler. I gotta figure out how to say this dude's name. Dan Brugler, the Beast on the Athletic here. Said rare athletic balance and fluidity for a 285 pounder. These are strengths: explosive off the ball with flexibility to turn the corner and flatten. Oh, this guy sounds like an absolute gem. Smart contained player and sets a hard edge. Oh, this guy's destroying people left and right. Lateral quickness helps him to blow up backside runs. We got an Aura ad for that. Watch yourself now. And let's start off with his number one weakness: major finishing issues.
So, man, that material was so much for inappropriate jokes right there.
Are we talking about on the field still?
On 26.9% of his snaps,
Hey, Pat, they got pills for that, man.
Hey, they got pills for that, dog. Major finishing issues. 26.9% missed tackle rate in college. This dude, I like how we did the 0.9%. 30% of the times when he can make a tackle, he don't make it. 30% of the time when he can sack a quarterback, he don't sack him.
So what are we talking about here?
So the other 70, he's good.
Now listen, you can look at glass half full, right?
I mean,
the other
is Pat going to be the mid defender of defensive linemen? What is going on here?
Hey, listen, I told you take a dude at 10 that's an impact player, Mike Green, but nobody wants to listen to Pat. Hopefully Brian Poles does.
Yeah, too many sexual assault things going on, man.
I will say, last time Ryan Poles listened to me, it didn't work out too well. So,
nah. Chase Claypool still ain't in the league.
Dang it! Hey, I just seen a clip. Remember, he went on. Was he on Pivot? Oh, he was on one of them podcasts. Chase Claypool,
top 3.
And he was like, he said, I mean, honestly, I can't name 3 receivers better than me in the NFL. I was like,
Dylon.
Exactly.
Hey, I could name 3 that was just on the Bengals. They were on one team.
Hey, kid, I can name 3 that were on the Bears, and one of them was a rookie.
What
are your thoughts on Shamar Stewart, kid? If the Bears are going after him again, maybe you could take him top 10, but I would assume you're talking about possibly trading back into this first round to go get a guy like Shamar Stewart. Is this a move that you would want to see the Bears make?
We've talked about a lot of different scenarios in which trading up made sense. And, we can see us going after your tight end if you wanted to. You doesn't need it, but you can do it, right? Running back, cool. Fix the line, great. You trade up to get this guy in the first round. That'd be one of the biggest mistakes Ryan Poles has made. And it just piles on to the rest of the mistakes that we can kind of amplify. Chase Claypool being one of them. Thanks, Pat. That you made. And so, hey, listen, you were the guy, you were the cheerleader. He was listening to you that day. You were his brother.
I did want him. I did want Chase.
And I just don't see it. Like, hey, listen, I get the fact that this is Lion season and things of that nature, but sometimes the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is this: he only had 3 sacks his entire college career. Right? Sometimes that's all you need to see. Yeah. Everything I've seen, even for some of these reports that give him very glowing reviews, inconsistent is one of the words that is like consistently there. And I know that's coaching and things of that nature, but that sounds like a great pick for 41. That sounds like a great pick for 72. That sounds
exactly.
72 maybe, right? 41
down the track.
A little bit.
Exactly.
But trade up, give up assets to get this guy. Please, I'm not on that. I'm not on that ship. That ship for me has sailed. Excuse me. If he does that, I'm out.
Joel, Drew, y'all in on a Shamar Stewart in the first round?
Tape don't lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a real serious say no. Not in the first round.
5th round maybe, but like 3.5 sacks.
No, I would to be honest with you, with the measurables that he does have,
he's got great size.
Yeah. I would honestly, if I was gonna take him on potential and not reality, I'll go second round. I'll take him in the second round.
It reminds me of like
George Floyd. Leonard Floyd.
Leonard
Floyd.
This reminds me of DK Metcalf.
What a tough day for the show. Jesus Christ.
Hey, it's Floyd. Sorry, Leonard Floyd, the Bears guy, because he was full of potential.
I kicked it off this morning in case anybody showed the show.
No, but it reminds me of DK Metcalf being a workout warrior, but there were metrics that kind of measured. He still had receiving yards, but he moved up but there was something there. This guy didn't have. I mean, that production's not there.
No, like I said, I think,
Hey, you
I
say
think my take
DK?
is, I think my take is more he said DK.
Yeah, that's-
I don't know. I can't
Hey,
agree with
hey,
that.
hey,
I can't agree with that
DK
one.
Metcalf,
Yeah, but you need some rest.
Now,
Yeah.
you know what?
That's why I say. That's what. Now let me get this one real quick. That's why I say he's close to Leonard Floyd. Got his name right this time because Leonard Floyd, he did not show his NFL, potential.
Yeah.
Didn't come out until like the third or fourth year after he left the Bears. You saw a little bit in the Bears, but you saw him really explode when he went to San Francisco and the Rams. I see this guy very similar that was not able to show what he needed to do and won't translate to NFL readily until years down the road. So first round is way too high for that.
No, the thing with Floyd was he was an undersized linebacker,
but he showed
he
potential.
was fast.
He had potential.
No, he was fat. The thing with Shamar, he was productive at Georgia. There's no production here from this guy, and he's got the size because he looks like it. Huh?
And I will defend Joel on this. His DK Metcalf point was not a bad one. DK Metcalf was not flashy in high school or in college. DK Metcalf was a man among boys, but he did not have, at least if I remember right, he was a 500-600 yard receiver. He was not a 1,000+ yard receiver.
I'm gonna look it up, but my point was that the thing is that he had some in college, but it was the workout and the freak of nature stuff that was like, yo, all right, we'll take him in the first round. What I'm saying is we're not seeing anything out of this guy from college. He's got the body is there, the physicality is all there, but it's like, well, you're just gonna give him a lot of money and he's still gonna be inconsistent versus where that's all I'm saying was a comparable of DK, but it's the other side that he actually did something with it. It's a gamble.
It'll be interesting. You got to be careful of the workout warriors. I mean, you can end up with a guy like a DK Metcalf. I mean, we being honest, Jay Cutler was a workout warrior. Like Jay Cutler is one of the funniest workout warriors there is. I think he did the bench press. Quarterbacks don't have to do the bench press, or they didn't. I don't know if they do now, but they didn't have to do the bench press back then. He did like 25 reps of 225, which would have been number one among offensive linemen.
But he was throwing the ball though. No. Oh, so the double back. Okay, Pat. This Joker threw for 569 yards in 28. DK Metcalf and he caught. He receiving yards 569. 2017 646 yards receiving. Yeah. So like he wasn't 1,000-yard receiver, but it was like this is a comparable situation of like not really doing that well.
You talking about in college?
Yeah, in college.
Who was his quarterback?
That's the thing. There's parameters, but the defensive end, he's on his own.
He was at Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. So for 2016, he didn't do nothing. 13 yards receiving. 2017, 646.
Who's the quarterback on that team? Is that a No, it's
2018.
It's 2018. I said 2019.
Boy,
for him to have 12 tugs.
I think he's Hawaiian. I want to say he's Hawaiian. I think he was dealing with I can't think of the quarterback's name.
I know he's talking. I got the face, but I can't think of the name either. Because he was a mid guy. And I don't even think
Chad
Jordan is Jordan something. Is Jordan to Amu? Jordan to I can't remember what his name was. He was decent.
What
like
position?
His second year.
It's Jordan Te'amu.
Quarterback.
He was a second string though. It was Jordan Te'amu and Shea Peterson.
Jordan Te'amu or so. I forget how to pronounce his last name, but I know it's like one of them weird names. But yeah, he was like 3,500, 3,900 yards. They didn't win a lot.
But there's guys that
it wasn't. It was Matt Corral. Matt's the second string. Matt Corral was
Shea Patterson and Jordan Te'amu was.
I thought you said 2018.
Yeah, 2016 to 2018.
Oh no, Matt Corral was the year after.
Hey, but you also have to put things into perspective. AJ Brown was on this team.
Well, no, the thing with this sold DK though was I think, and I don't have the numbers up, but if I'm not mistaken, wasn't DK
Elijah Moore was on that team
like 22 yards per reception?
16 in his last season.
16 his last. Don't he have a season with like 22 yards per reception on there?
I had to look that up.
Or 21 or like he was a big yards per reception guy. So basically, anytime you put the football in his hand, he would destroy you.
Yeah, AJ Brown was on that team too. Yeah,
AJ Brown,
Marcus Gregory was on that team,
and him.
Yeah. But here's the big thing though. No matter what, right? DK showed you something, right? The yards per reception is
Knox was on that
crazy
team.
He was
in college. DK showing you something. Shamar Stewart hasn't shown me anything.
That's all.
He hasn't shown me the positives that they're putting up when I watch his tape. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm an expert, but there are certain people that when you watch their tape, they wow you. There are certain people when you watch their tape, you go, oh, that's solid. There's certain people when you watch their tape, you go, what are you talking about? I felt the exact same way about Shamar Stewart, the way I felt about watching Anthony Richardson last season.
Right.
Thanks. He can hit the roof.
Yeah,
he can't hit the quarterback. He can't hit the receivers in the hands. To me,
he can jump out the pool.
The one thing I will give Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart can get around his man.
So
there's a lot of running backs that get past them.
So what round would you feel comfortable in?
I mean, I would
honestly. I say second. Joe, you say fifth.
No, I'm saying I hope that he goes in the first round as somebody else, so it helps us get whoever we need. I hope he goes in the first round.
You will.
No, it's we talking about potential because he does have potential. So I can say I would be okay if I get my running back or my defensive lineman at 10 in the second round with my second pick. If I want to take a flyer, because obviously now we can get luxury, I would take him as a luxury pick in my second pick of round 2.
Hey,
look, there will always be a GM or a team that's going to be like, screw the numbers. We see what we see. We see the physical traits, and we're going to take a chance because they think they're smarter than everybody else, and then they're going to fail. So that's the team that's going to take Shamar Stewart. Hopefully it's not us, because I see no reason why we need to get this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him above 4th to me, talent-wise.
Okay, that
I'm
makes sense.
with you on that one.
He looked like a 4th-round pick to me.
Yeah,
like
I say 3rd.
Maybe a 3rd, but with Ryan Poe's luck with 3rd-round picks, I'd say, buddy, to me, feels like a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
Listen, that 3rd round is pure and utter dominance.
Yeah, it's bad. I'll take Mike Tyson over Shamar Stewart right now.
Right now.
Right now.
But we're all in agreement that trading up just shouldn't be the move.
No, listen, I think that conversation is completely insane. But it was one that, right, Matt Miller brought it up about, the Bears possibly trading back into the first round to go get a defensive end. I don't think Shamar Stewart gets out of the first round.
I don't think he gets. Well, wait a minute. What?
I don't think he gets out of the first round. Anthony Richardson was the second quarterback taken.
I don't know. What's up yours?
Think about the quarterbacks in this draft.
Nothing about Anthony Richardson's game said this dude's an NFL quarterback.
It did,
except for
just his arm strength.
Potential. The thing is,
and that's what I said. Potential.
Like certain GMs are going to fall in love, or like we all said on the show. That's fine. I just don't want us to go for the fool's gold, and then you end up getting this guy, and then he doesn't do anything. It's like, was it Vernon Golston was a guy that was like a man among boys.
The guy from Jets,
the Jets, and he was a bust. Like,
he was not going to say he was a bust. He definitely didn't live up to it.
You guys are jerks.
Great code.
How does he get to remember the quarterback from 2018 of Ole Miss? But I can't.
6 years ago. You went 60 years ago.
2018 quarterback of Ole Miss.
What's my cap? So I know that we're not taking shots.
We're the old guys. It's fine. We'll let them continue to drink.
We'll have our shots.
Yes.
No, I said for you, anything pre Bears Super Bowl, you getting a little old.
All right, that's fine. That's
fine.
Vernon
Golston's
old.
The last one we went through.
I think when I say he's like 2000. I want to say 12, maybe.
Man. That's past the Bears. We was 06.
Hey Joe, I'm gonna just say this: the name sounds old.
It was it's after the Bears Super Bowl.
Hey, you're in a different generation when you don't hear certain names anymore.
No,
you don't hear that type of name anymore.
What is the point of having this knowledge and history if we're not going to use it? We're not learning from it.
We're not going to educate you. We're not going to educate y'all.
Use it. We're just going to take a shot when you do. Appreciate y'all.
I'm not bringing up Johnny Unitas.
That was back in my day.
Let me tell you about Sid Luckman. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to Show and Love, man. The like button, subscribe to the page. Let's finish it out here.
About him, guy.
as the Chicago Bears had a few people in on their top 30 visit today. Caleb Johnson also in on the top 30 visit today. He is in the beast, the third ranked running back on the list here. Somebody who feels like clearly probably a second round pick, but with the Bears having 2 second rounders, it could be somebody that the Bears possibly go out there and look at. Now, Caleb Johnson's numbers last season, really the ones that jump off the page. 1,500 yards in his first real opportunity as a starter, 21 touchdowns. He averaged about 6 yards per carry. He was absolutely dominant. Chipped in 188 receiving yards, was averaging about 8 yards per reception. A lot of screen games there, a couple of touchdowns there, but on 22 receptions. So more got to see him more as the running back than as the a receiving back out of that backfield. Strengths of him: physically put together with power throughout the frame, runs square with a strong base of forward momentum to make tacklers feel it at the contact. That's right. Said he draws his inspiration from here we go, another second round guy, a lot of size to him, Derrick Henry, ladies and gentlemen. Shines on the toss, outside zone, or plays with horizontal flow. Stays light on his feet to redirect and make timely cuts. Some of the weaknesses: inconsistent pad level, which, by the way, everybody just about outside of Genty maybe is going to have inconsistent pad level. Not a home run hitter, and long speed taps out. Can do a better job of setting up second level moves, and his work is in progress as a blocker in the backfield. Averaged just 2.4 pass blocking snaps per game in 2024. So you would probably need somebody else to be a pass blocking back. But my question to you guys is, if Caleb Johnson is on the Chicago Bears list here, Caleb Johnson does not scream off the page to me as number one running back, right? And I get it. Dan has these guys. He has him as the third back. To me, I'd probably have a guy like Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson. To me, Travion Henderson might be the best pass blocking running back in this whole thing, but yes, I would have them above a Caleb Johnson. But Caleb Johnson on his top 30 visit here, he's got him top 100 rank at 44. If Caleb Johnson shows up in Chicago, does that mean DeAndre Swift is sticking around? Start off with Kid on this one.
No, it doesn't. And I'll be honest with you. You know what? Let me take that back. Probably because of the way that Ben Johnson actually has that set going. You need someone who provides what they described him as providing. And to be honest with you, this also just lets you know that regardless whether or not we want running back in the first round, we think it's a good idea, second round, the Bears are prioritizing getting the back in these first couple rounds. A running back is coming through these doors some way, some shape, or form, right? And so, if the rumors are true with Ben Johnson not really liking DeAndre Swift, if we can take any of the tea leaves from Eric Bieniemy talking about what DeAndre Swift could do better, even though I think it was more of, like you mentioned, him coaching him up. This is probably that insurance for that one. I think Ian Wheeler has been retained again, right?
He got signed to a multi-year deal.
Yep. He is back.
So I can see us moving away from Swift. I can see us moving away from Swift in this regard, but I think regardless, the biggest takeaway for me personally is the Bears want a running back. They're going to end up taking one in these early rounds. It's more about whether or not that's the best person available at that time that we're up to draft.
Yeah, a lot of big body guys available to the Bears here. Caleb Johnson coming in at 6'1", 224 pounds. You would hope that he's a guy that if wow, that was about to be a pause.
He's the biggest. He's the biggest running back that we've talked about today.
So, yeah, probably. It's still in that Hampton range. They're kind of on the same trajectory, but he doesn't have the same speed like Omarion Hampton does. Joel, what are your thoughts on a Caleb Johnson possibly being the answer at running back for the Chicago Bears?
You know who he runs like? Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
He's Jordan Howard, 6 foot 24. Rumbler. Like Hampton is big. Like it looks like you lost me at where he doesn't have the home run hitter. That's what I want. He's going to be a solid guy, get some yardage, move the chains. I prefer, like, for me, if Genty or Hampton is that guy, like that home run hitter, Caleb is probably a serviceable dude that goes in the rotation. He's just a step up from Roshan, and he's it's thunder and lightning from Swift to if you get Caleb Johnson. So it's fine as long as we're still adding to the offensive line, the running game.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm looking at, more of a rumbler type of guy. But I want breakaway. We've seen these guys; they come in all the time. I would love to get a special running back, but if we get him, I'm gonna trust this scheme that we're running, and behind this offensive line, he should do quite well. I think anybody we get is going to fare well. It's just how are we looking at a 1,200-yard rusher versus 1,100-yard versus a 1,500-yard rusher, and Caleb Johnson screams 1,200 yards to me. The special back is 1,800 yards type of stuff. That's a special running back to me.
I mean, yeah, listen, the thing with Caleb Johnson is, he'd come in and it would set up the David Montgomery role, right? It would be thunder and lightning. It would be, you literally got two guys. That's why, to me, I asked the question, is DeAndre Swift going to stick around? Caleb Johnson is the thumper. DeAndre Swift is your speed guy. He's your outside zone guy. He's your guy that is the home run hitter. You got a home run hitter in the building. The problem is, my big question around DeAndre Swift is DeAndre Swift trusting the blocks that he's seeing? He didn't trust him in Philly. Didn't trust him last season, although there were less blocks for him last season than what he had in Philly. He didn't trust him in Detroit, which is why Ben Johnson ended up being like, we can move on from this guy. We don't have to go out there and pay him the big bucks after a solid season. Those are the questions for me where you've got the home run hitter, but if I'm going with a Caleb Johnson, to me, you're probably trying to make the most out of DeAndre Swift contract here with the Bears. And remember, he's got 2 more years on this deal. It's technically 1 more year, but the Bears, it's a 3-year deal where if the Bears in that 3rd year want to get out of the money, they can, basically. Drew, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are aligned close to yours. I think that
he stays on this show. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, thank you. No, I think that he becomes our first and second down back, and then Swift then translates, instead of being the every down back, goes into, like you said, a specialized role, kind of like Jahmyr Gibbs, catching those short slants across the middle, being able to outrun the linebackers and taking it, for the home run. Because you said he does have the breakaway speed that was similar, that's needed in Johnson's in his offensive scheme. That it does work. It's not a sexy pick, but it's one of those fundamental picks that if we do get, it's definitely gonna help the team.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Hey, JC, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, Drew hit it on the head. I was basically going to say that you getting a guy that kind of comes off as an old school running back, not really used in the passing game as much, but is that thumper that has decent.
Eddie George do his game.
Eddie George,
Eddie George, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Absolutely, yeah. He can see through the line, like he sees the hole.
Maybe a Neil Anderson type, yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. I
love how, and shout out to Eddie George. Eddie George is a fine running back, but we talk about Eddie George like Eddie George is the greatest back. Because of his battles with Ray Lewis, and he would get 1,500 yards, but Eddie George was literally like 3 yards per carry, and the whole offense was just Eddie run.
But if you look at the strips, like this is an easy comparison with when you're talking about the tandem with him. If DeAndre Swift is going to be kept and used more, his strengths are obvious. The size is there. You have deceptive speed. I've seen tape where even though he ran a 4.57 in the combine, he looks a little bit faster on film, especially when he gets up to his top speed, and he's kind of breaking away. I'm not saying he has home run speed. He's not elite in that category. Awesome vision. Those are the things that DeAndre Swift lacks. We've seen DeAndre Swift, as you mentioned, not trust the tackles. Now, if that's a product of not having a good line, that's also part of it. But we have a good line, and we still think that DeAndre Swift, because even when he was on Philly, only gained over 1,000 yards. So my thing is, that would be a perfect blend. Would it be kind of like the David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs type? That would be a lesser version. It would be the poor version of that, in a sense. Caleb Johnson, to me, is that first and second down back. He's the goal line back that you can trust to kind of maybe break some tackles and get through defenders. And so if we got him, I'm fine with that.
What if we draft 2 running backs?
Wait, man! Oh, you so
you about to
what
man?
We talking about
about to explode.
We talking about a 4 quarterback rule. I mean, 4 running back rule.
No,
that's a lot.
What if they
should get him a
5 running backs?
No.
All right, and well, that's it for Pat.
What
is cooked.
They take Hampton in the first round.
They
take Henderson in the second round and trade Swift out of there because they don't like Swift, right?
They don't like
So we're
Swift or
taking
Roschon. So you have to
Travion
trade both of them.
who?
You get Hampton, and then you
Hampton
get
and Travion. Oh
and you
boy,
take
what did he
Travion
got? What does he got? He's got what is that? A hammer? What is he got?
Where we going?
What's your weapon of choice?
Right. So now that means now you got to trade Swift. You got
They got a
you gotta trade
guillotine.
Swift
What are you?
and
what is that?
Roschon?
You give no Roschon's on the squad. He don't cost nothing. The whole if you get out of that contract for next year because he's owed $9 million.
9 million.
Huh?
9 million.
Yeah, the next year after that, I think is 8.
Yeah, we looked at
We just looked at it
Yeah.
on the Bears Breeze, by the way.
Yeah.
The idea if you right down there. So if you end up oh, thanks. Hey, appreciate you, bro. What if they made that move and they redo the whole running back room, reset the whole contract situation with because they have $66 million in the cap next year, minus having to re-sign anybody else. So
was it with friends like that? Who needs enemies?
And guest. And the mold. And guest.
And guess.
but what if they did that to save a cap move like that? Yeah, they eat the cap for next year. He's owed, I think, a $10 million cap hit this year if they cut him, or move him. But hey, why not? If you want to reset this room and get some rookie running backs in there.
Hey Jay, if they draft 2 running backs, I can guarantee you Dennis Allen is going to sit there, walk into that draft room. So you just didn't care about me at all.
Well, if he gets a second,
listen. Now y'all know I don't want to see no 2 running backs in this building. That sounds horrible. But if you take your big name guy at
10.
Yeah, if you take your big name guy at 39, I can't get with a first round running back, which would be a Caleb Johnson. Maybe an Omarion Hampton does fall there because everybody's sitting there, right? Every single week, somebody new is rising up through the ranks. Somebody's not going to be there. So somebody's going to end up falling. But at 39, at 41, whoever it is, you take that shit. That's the running back you want to take. And then you got 2 7th-round picks. Maybe you want to trade up for one of these 6th-round guys. Again, literally, my favorite quote on the running back class this year is basically, unless you don't want one, that's the only way you're not getting one.
Wow.
Like, if you told me that I'm taking a Trevor Etienne in the 5th round, all right, I can live with that. Right, like that's the only 2 running backs where it's like you take a 2nd round dude, then you're like, also we like this guy here in the 5th round. But I do think, right, Caleb Johnson, we're having a conversation on, how he fits in with DeAndre Swift. Listen, I loved watching Ian Wheeler up close last year. I thought that he did everything well for the Chicago Bears, and I really hope that he gets an opportunity this season to show out a little bit, even just to be on the roster as a practice squad guy that eventually gets call-ups when guys eventually get hurt. If you take Caleb Johnson and you're telling me the lightning to that is Ian Wheeler, I like that going into the season. I really think Ian Wheeler's game is NFL caliber. I hate the fact that he dealt with the injury. Now here's the problem, right? Because you dealt with the injury, does he lose some speed? What's going to be the issue there? What's going to be how is this going to affect him in the long run? It may be that that's just a feel-good story that dies on the vine right there, which, by the way, I don't know if y'all remember Hard Knocks last year. He's not doing bad. If this NFL thing don't work out, he gets to go become a doctor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's literally a genius. But I do think that, if you were to take a guy like Caleb Johnson in the 2nd round, I could understand the mindset of trying to get a guy in the 6th or 7th round that makes sense for you at that position if you were going to do the 2 running back thing. If they do that, though, just off of GP, I do have to flip at least 2 tables. Just off GP. Hey, man, let us know
Don't tear up the UGX spot.
You said what? Yeah, we'll do it at UGX. We'll do. Well, we only gonna be there one day. Yeah, we won't be there for this. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If we doing this whole draft party, by the way, pull up on the draft party as we get nice draft party. The Windy City Breeze draft party is going to be on the 24th. Tickets are on sale now. Ultimate Gaming Experience out in Orland Park. Make sure to pull up on us, man. We're gonna be live for the draft party. Whole crew's gonna be in effect. It's gonna be a great time. There's a 65-inch television giveaway.
I'm stealing it.
And with free installation included. No,
That's
none
right.
of the people on this podcast.
I'll install it for you.
I'm not putting
don't-
in another bathroom and a TV for you. No.
Don't you trust? Well, listen, if you pull up, Joel will design your bathroom and put the TV in it for you. So pull up to the draft event, man. It's going to be a great time.
You gotta poop in style, baby. You gotta poop in style.
I did.
Hey, listen. All right, any of y'all like me? Did y'all grow up with a bathroom or a TV in the bathroom?
No.
Nah. My big mama had a TV in every room. And legitimately, she had one of them little, I don't remember if y'all remember this little see-through, like the back was see-through. And it was like a little 20-inch TV. And she had that mug sitting on a file cabinet in the bathroom. Don't ask me why file cabinet was in the bathroom. I ain't open it. I don't ask no questions. Shut up. But yeah, take your shit. Yeah, be careful in them situations. But man, there was a TV in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen. It was one on the back porch. We had two in the basement. We had everywhere you went, there was a TV on, which was great during playoff time.
Unfortunately, in my upbringing, the TVs were too expensive. You had one in the parents' room and one in the living room. That was it.
Yeah.
Man, the subscription of Jet and Ebony was what happened at the houses I was in. So
hey,
it was just good reading material in the bathroom.
Hey, let me tell you what,
page magazine rack.
Page 42 turned me into a grown man.
Oh boy.
Hey man, we gonna get up out of here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. If you remember page 42, oh boy, let me tell you now. They switched the pages up too. I think it went from 42 to like 16 for a little while there. They were like a little too close to the front. So yeah, I'm kind of sore. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. Hey, we gonna get up out of here. As always, man, for the pettiest man alive, Mr. P Kid, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, super producer Joel Holden, Mr. Drew Better. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better? Nobody, bro. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. The Bulls are playing. There's the coverage.
One
Hey.
love.